Hello and welcome to Throwback Iron Podcast number 2. This podcast is sponsored by Axon Tire, helping dealers move modern iron for the past 100 years. For more information, go to axontire.com.
Forgive Aaron, folks. He's only been on this podcast twice, so doing all right, buddy. Don't worry about it. Axon Tire would like to give the loyal listeners of the Moving Iron Podcast a free,
no dull hairs,
mouse pad that gives you a resource to let you do the metric conversions between tires and whatnot.
Awesome.
So you can take a look at, hey, you know what? I got a 520. I want to go do a whatever,
20.8.
Get some of that. So if you want one of those mouse pad tire resources, go to axontiretips.com, and there are some amazing case studies in there. So if you're really looking at what your tires are going to be doing for you and what the whole gambit of that looks like, read those blog posts, read those case studies, because you're going to find some really cool stuff about compaction, especially going on there about that. So check that out. Go to axontiretips.com, fill out the form at the bottom, and they'll send you not one, but two. Dose. That's right. Dose. Good job. Dose.
Bilingual.
This guy. They'll send you two of those and in the mail there. So just give me your information, tell them Moving Iron Podcast sent you, and go from there.
Right on. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours.
And the cool thing about that, it's the first time in 33 years diesel's been more than the truck.
That's right.
So this is
if
exciting.
You fill the truck, I don't care if it's a brand new Pete, you fill the truck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's exciting. Yeah, it's good news. But on that flip side of that, no matter how you want to buy your ag equipment, whether it's from a dealer, an auction, or a private party,
right on,
AgDirect can help you finance that. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com.
Fantastic. This segment is brought to you by TractorZoom. With access to over $20 billion worth of heavy machinery sales data, TractorZoom's Iron Comps is the industry's trusted solution for transparent, heavy equipment values and auctionable pricing insights.
You know one thing about TractorZoom?
What's that? They drive really fast tractors.
They do drive because they Zoom.
They just commute in JCBs.
They only buy the 50K transmissions. That's all they get.
There you go.
But the cool thing about them is they're like that. They're like the new kid in the block that showed up that's actually moving the dial.
Right.
I mean, they're like it's like when Peyton Manning showed up to the Colts.
Ooh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or
we're not really going anywhere, but we got this kid from Tennessee, whatever, and next thing you know, boom. You got something like that. That's what I think of TractorZoom. TractorZoom to me is one of the premier places to go look and see what's happening in the place, because it's totally different. It's nothing like you're going to see in the marketplace. So check them out.
Correct.
It's nothing like you're going to see anywhere else. And the data that you get is just data. That's all it is. It's not washed or whitewashed or strained or anything else. It's all data, and it's just perfect. So check them out.
Now, to that point, real quick, since you mentioned the sheriff.
The sheriff? What?
Peyton's the sheriff.
Oh,
That's his nickname. Yeah, right. Let's not lose sight of the more important task he did, which is turning around one of the proudest franchises in NFL football, who he also retired into the Hall of Fame under.
Right.
Bronco.
Oh, you talking Arrowhead West.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm tracking. That makes sense. I remember that.
Used to be. In Russ we trust. I just started that. Hashtag trademark.
Hashtag. There you go. Hashtag that.
In Russ we trust.
All right. So what are we doing today, Aaron?
Well, this is a second go for this. We like to do these episodes about 3 years apart.
Roughly 3 years apart.
The problem is this, ladies and gentlemen. I am not a host. I'm just the color guy. I'm a co-host. I can't lead. I can just be the jackass. So
yeah,
it's a little tough for me. If I was to like dial in, it'd be like washout cycle, only like 1973 manure spreaders.
Right. What was Champ's last name?
Bailey.
Champ Bailey.
Yep.
You're the Champ Bailey of this this whole thing. You know, you're gonna yell whammy every once in a while.
Oh, no. That's Champ Kind on Anchorman. I watched that at lunch today. Whammy. Is that a bat? No, they call that chicken of the cave. At least you didn't say I was Brick.
I'd like to invite you to the party in my pants.
I'd like to think I'm an even mix of Champ Kind and Brian Fantana.
There you go.
At least.
Yeah.
You know.
Because 60% of the time works every time.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
exactly.
you know, that's how it is.
Exactly.
Well, on this episode, if
I like
you will.
that. I will.
On this edition of the Throwback Iron Podcast, we had this idea, and it came to Casey, of course. That's why we're doing it.
Came to me in a dream.
Back in, it kind of did. You're probably at work staring at your computer, be like, "Oh, I got it." We had this idea, you know, back in the day, being teen boys. We're damn near the same age, year apart, and we tinkering on pickups, you know, spending time in the shop like teen boys do, you know. I wish mine did a little more, but just kidding, guys. But that's something we all do, you know. It's that rite of passage.
Exactly.
And this last weekend, I actually had my personal 25th year high school reunion. Go Dragons! Woo! So we thought this would be a good secondary jumping off point.
Mm-hmm.
So Casey, my buddy,
yep,
old 73 in the house.
Oh, buddy, yeah.
Let's hear your first shop story, because he's the nerd, but he's also the way better wrencher than I am. I can't. If I can change tires, we are cooking with gas, man.
So growing up, I had my before I was born, my dad was he worked for an auto garage someplace, you know, and Shorty Gable was his boss. Shorty Gable. And Shorty Gable was
how come people don't have names like that no more?
I don't know.
Shorty
was the coolest guy on the planet, man. I tell you what, we would go to these shop things, and my dad worked for Shorty for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, something like that. And I don't remember the exact time frame, but basically my dad got out of high school, I went to the community college, went through auto mechanics class, and went through auto body and all that, you know, and went to work for a family friend in town, had a garage, and Shorty Gable's garage, you know, and his real name is Richard Gable, but everybody called him Shorty.
Now, if you were going to build a shop, a lot of lowriders, because if I'm going to take my lifted Chevy pickup to a garage, I don't want to go to Shorty Gable. It might get scratched on the roof.
Well, I can tell you that Shorty's name was not an ironic name. He wasn't like the 6'5" guy they called Shorty. He's actually short. He was like 5'5", and he was Shorty.
Those guys are good techs. They can reach everything.
They are. And I remember my dad telling me stories about Shorty, and Shorty would, you know, he worked on all kinds of stuff, and Shorty would tell him stories about when he would, you know, he worked on an engine and they pulled the piston out of this engine. It was big enough that he could get inside of the actual cylinder wall and work on whatever he was working on inside this thing, you know. And so my dad worked for him for a long time, whatever else. And then, you know, he had kids and moved on to the oil industry and whatever else. But, you know, fast forward, you know, from the time I was born in 1977. So I was 15 years old in 87 plus 5 would get you what, 93, right? So
no, 92.
90. I got my first truck. I got an old beat up white Chevy pickup, 2-wheel drive.
Chevy pickup.
If you go back and listen,
like a rock.
If you go back and listen to Throwback Iron 1.1,
dusted off.
That's from a year ago. Go back and listen to that one. You hear all about that. But I get this truck, and the first experience that I got working on a truck was get this truck, take it over to, you know, moving back to El Dorado, Kansas. We lived in Eureka, Kansas, moved back to El Dorado, Kansas. And I get this truck and we take it to my grandpa's house. And my grandpa had a big shop out, next to their house, and put it in there and going through it. I don't remember what we were doing. My dad was doing whatever. And he's like, hey, Case, you got to do this. I'm not going to do it. I'm like, I don't know how to pop out here. I'm going to break something. And, you just keep doing what you're doing. He's like, okay, all right, cool. So, fast forward a couple years, and I'm, I think I was 14 then. So it'd have been like 91 or 92 or something like that. Fast forward to like,
isn't it funny?
Yeah.
Small town America, ain't nobody gets a car when you're 16.
No.
That son of a bitch is half worn out, man.
Yeah. I'd put 100,000 miles on it by the time I was 16,
and every route around town where
Sure.
the cops aren't sitting.
Exactly. Yeah.
The roads they don't watch.
Yep. Exactly.
Hell yeah.
And so I get this truck and fast forward, and I'm the first time that I really get into wrenching on the vehicle was I was going someplace. Don't remember where I was going or why I was going there, but the engine had two pistons and two push rods, or not push rods, cylinder arms detached from the crankshaft and knock a hole in the side of the engine.
Oh, damn.
Right. So the get it back, I call my dad up and like, hey, my truck's not running. It's whatever. He goes, oh, that's weird. He goes, get underneath it and tell me what you see. And I go, oh, there's oil everywhere. He's like, what? There's oil everywhere. He's like, yeah, I go, there's oil. There's all over the ground down here. He's like, I've only heard this noise one time. And it was like, so we get it. And that's when I learned how to, my dad gave me like a crash course on how to tow a vehicle with a tow rope.
Oh yeah.
You're
damn, you got to use a rope?
Oh yeah.
Shit, I'm still using chains.
Yeah, this was
you get the arm out the window. Slow down.
He goes, here's the deal. He goes, these roads going back home, so you're slowing me down. I'm not slowing you down because there's a rope between us.
Right.
So he goes, when you see me hit my brakes, I'll tap the brakes and the light comes on, you just start slowing down. Cool. He goes, do not jump on the brakes no matter what. Pulling that thing back in. First stop sign. What it hits his brakes. What do I immediately do? Stamp on the brake, snap the rope. Just and Dad's like, God damn it! He's screaming, and yelling. Comes walking back. We get a piece back together. And what he had was, oil field guy. So he's got a chain, right? And like we got this like 3/4 of a rope, right? So we tied this rope to the chain and do this whole thing. Get him back in town. So I figured, crash course, learn my lesson there. And now I figured out how to do it, slowing him down, everything else. We get him back in town and pull my truck in the garage. Out the
oh goodness.
Out to the shop out there at the where my dad worked at. He had an old, way back when, there's a shop back there that you'd keep like a couple different trucks in, but since then they'd done away with that service. So this was just a big empty building and you had a place there. So get the truck put in there and go through the thing. And my next experience was going to a salvage yard and finding it. So that was my initial, that was my very first shop story of sorts where, we tore the whole engine down, took it all apart, new heads. What did we use? Use the same heads, but we rebuilt the heads, put new springs and lifters and all that stuff in it, and new, got the crank down to the machine shop, and they got everything honed back up and balanced and everything else. And we got everything good to go and put it all back together. And that was the beginning of many times where we worked on that truck. And it was probably the coolest thing for me because I learned, this, as weird as it sounds, I learned a lot of, problem solving type scenarios there. Like,
oh yeah,
if A's happening, then B is probably your answer.
Right.
So that whole idea of going through that shop, that thing, and I still go back to that place every once in a while. My dad still has the same place. We go back to the same place, and I look at that place and I'm like, man, if that place could talk, there's a lot of stories that come out of there.
Oh, absolutely. mine are not nearly, or I don't have like a good one. I just have lots of little ones that involve me not listening or dad not listening to me and one of us screwing something up.
Yeah.
My first experience with the problems of being a abnormal sized human, you know, in a shop story. This is one of my favorite shop stories. So I had a 82 Chevy pickup with a 6.2 in it, 6.2 diesel.
Right on. Okay.
Hell yes, right on to the core. So I had this issue driving down the road. Your glow plugs start going off. Well, your glow plug controller screws in at the back of the engine in the valley. You got to take the air filter and all that shit off to get to it. Because those back in that day, you know, just had the old same air filter your pickup had, right? You know, yep. Same can on top of the engine. Well, it was like this. And I didn't know what the hell this meant back then, but it's this little, it's probably this tall, and it's got real big, you know, hex pattern on it.
Yep.
Screwed in by hand, or you pipe dope it, and then you screw it in by hand, and then you wrench it snug. And my dad is over there going, don't over tighten that. It's just pot metal.
I heard that a million times.
You're going to break it. And I'm like, oh, from the guy who I've seen snap off all kinds of shit, because
you know, the funny thing about that is don't over tighten it. Okay. What the hell does that mean?
Right.
I'm like, what do you mean talking like tight and then like a quarter turn? I mean, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
What is don't over tighten?
Well, it's just like, why the hell would we need a torque wrench?
Right. Exactly.
What's that for?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you're supposed to torque wheels and shit. He's like, you just as tight as you can, and it
yeah, add a little bit of that too.
A little
My dad's favorite line was, now you understand that's a quarter inch. You'd use a quarter inch on that. Don't. Because my thing was like, I just get a 3/8.
Yeah. I use 3/8 for everything.
But I get the quarter inch adapter, so you get like this really small stuff. And he'd be like, why do you use the 3/8 on that? I'm like, why would I keep changing wrenches? I just
right. This one's warm.
He goes, don't over tighten it. I'm like, all the way around, you know, you rip the head off. And he'd be like, I told you not to over tighten it. I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
Right.
That's a relevant statement you're making to me, Father.
Absolutely. Now,
which he enjoyed that when I said that.
The rest of the story.
Now you ass kicked.
I snapped it off, right? Well, the beauty of it is it screws into that valley. Mm-hmm. Well, that whole thing is solid, except for where the threads are. That part's hollow.
Right.
Just why not? You know. So you snap it off, level with the top of the deal it screws into. Thank God that thing has 2 bolts and it comes out. So, mind you, this was because the rest of my stuff is just like stupid teenager shit. Like I cut off my mufflers with a hacksaw.
Right on.
I cut off my running boards with a hacksaw.
Didn't do that.
Or with an L head grinder. Because I got tired of sawing sideways. Mm-hmm. So I was like, piss on that. Just going. Where's your running boards? I'm like, they're muddy. I just tired. Son of a bitch. Can't take care of anything.
Yep.
Everything.
Yep.
Results. Everything in my life dates back to that. So net wrap in my tractor because I can't take care of anything. So anyway, the funny part of this story is those that follow me on social media know I like my toys and they got to be a certain way and that kind of shit, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Tire geek, wheel geek, all that kind of
Familiar.
Very. So the tire guy in Hebron next town over and I were pretty tight because I'd be like, you know what I should do? Because I had like 3 sets of wheels, right?
Right.
Like,
why wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's 2-wheel drive pickup. You got to have your cool set.
Yep.
You got to have your I'm just doing whatever set, and then you got to have your winter's coming, right? Or it's rained a lot back in that country. And so I was constantly buying these $10 like 15% used tires but they were white letter and they looked
Sure,
cool,
of course, yeah.
Hell yeah. Throw some mutters on the back, be like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Look at that. About to get serious. So he was also a diehard GM guy. And he happened to have a salvage 6.2 in the back of the building with that adapter in it. So
Founder.
So what my dad thought was going to be this, well, that'll teach him. I was like, I got this adapter for $5 from Ralph. And he's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
One of my favorite shops. I got two favorite shop stories. One was, of course, my dad grew up as, he's a mechanic, grew up working on stuff, wrenching on stuff, and, spent a lot of time doing a bunch of mechanic stuff and those kind of things. So he could easily spot like, oh, I saw what you're doing here. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I got two stories. One is, first story is we're getting, he calls me and says, hey, get your truck ready to go. Cause at the time I had a miss in it. He goes, we try all the other stuff. We're going to do a couple different tests. I got test light. We're going to make sure it's, top dead center and everything's working like it's supposed to. And then we're going to put a new set of spark plug wires on there. He goes, so take it out the shop, get the hood up and everything, I'll be out there in about 30 minutes. So I'm like, you know what, Dad, don't worry about it. Do not worry about it. I'll make sure this thing's dialed in. Something like I'm thinking, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get it out here. We're going to put new spark plug wires on anyway. Let's take them all off.
I did that one.
Take them all off. My dad gets out there and I'm like, he goes, hey, Dad, I did some prep work here. We're ready to go. Just let me know what we need to do next. And he goes, because I took the spark plug wires off, took all the spark plugs out, put new spark plugs in. And he goes, where's the spark plug wires at? I go, I took them off. He goes, you took them off. Okay. Yeah, you don't do that. You take them off one at a time and you find the one that's the same length and you do that.
Oh, damn.
So this is before Google, right? This is like 1992, right?
This is go to Napa and get a book. That's what I had to do.
Went down. We had a good friend. Dad had a good friend that worked down at one of the auto parts store. Go down there. His name is Lance Riley, if I remember right. I think it's his name. I don't remember for sure. But anyways, his first name was Lance. And he would, Dad walks in and he goes, hey, I need a firing order for a 350 engine, and he goes, I'm guessing it's like a 78 or 79 engine.
Right.
Goes, I need the firing order for that. And he gives it to me. He goes, they're all the same. Here you go. You go in there and he doesn't give it to him, doesn't give him a schematic. He draws here's the distributor cap, here's the posts all the way around it. And he's putting 1, 3, 7, 2, all the way around. And he dials it all in. And we get back in there and we were out there forever. And I'm watching him do this. I'm like, Dad, that's not, I'm looking at the diagram. He goes, you look at the diagram, you tell me where I need to put this one at. Because, he's up underneath the hood, whatever. And he's looking at it and I go, hey, you need to put that. Okay. I go, so I was going okay, so front middle one, go 3 to the right. That's what I was doing that.
Oh my God.
It took us, we'd get off one or whatever, and anything else. And he goes, God love my dad. He would never get so when we were working on when I was out doing stupid shit, he would come down on me like a ton of bricks. But whenever we're working on something, he was the most patient person on the planet.
Oh, that is.
You know what I mean? He'd be like, no, he goes, are you sure? 3 over? I go, look right here. See, he goes, I can't see anything right now. You gotta tell me, is it 3 over or is it 2 over? We do this whole thing. So we finally get all dialed in. And I remember I would go out and buy my own set of tools. I spent a whole summer working. I spent now we're talking 93 money here. Where I spent $1,000 on tools.
93 money. That's right. Big shit, man.
Yeah,
that's deep pockets,
dude. I had top box, bottom box.
That's what a cash.
I'm going to tech school tomorrow.
That's death row records, man, right there.
Right. So we get this thing all dialed in. Get the distributor wrench out. Crack it and speed up and slow down. And that was another thing that I did. I was like, before I do this, I'm going to go ahead and set the because I knew what I was doing, right? So I crack the thing up, and I'm like,
goodness.
because I remember I watched my dad do this, and he's like, okay, so if you take it to the right, I can't remember right or left or what, I don't remember what it was, but take it to the right, it speeds up the timing, engine speeds up, and then if you speak to the left, and of course my dad had done it enough to where he could take it and he could listen to the engine and he could tell you, like he'd be like, oh, yeah, right there, tighten it in, then you get the light out, and he might be off, a 30-second or something like that, and he could take it and just kind of twist just a little bit or whatever way, but he was like real close. Like, oh yeah, I got this. Second time I've ever done it. I'm dialed in. Crack that thing open. I take that distributor and I like twist it. Just my truck goes,
oh damn,
going crazy. And I'm like, tell my dad, and he's like, "What'd you do?" I was like, "Well, I like you did. You like listen to it, trying to make it." He goes, "I've done this 1,000 times. You've done it twice." He goes, "Don't ever do this again," And so he twists it back together and puts it together. But those are some really fond memories.
Oh yeah. You know what's funny about that? I never owned a distributor for years.
Really?
Yeah. Because I had that diesel pickup.
Oh yeah.
So like when you guys, that's what I always comment on. Like your mower's got problems. If it has a carburetor, I have no idea. Get it the hell out of here. Right, if you can't start it on carb cleaner and gas and keep it running, punt.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the slightest idea. Now I can do like diesel shit above what I should be able to with zero education just from being around it all the time. So when you guys were hot rodding up and down the street and that kind of shit and tweaking your carbs, and the only thing I could do is flip the air cleaner upside down and leave a lot of damn smoke down Main Street.
Yep.
Because I straight piped that 6.2.
Yeah.
One of the hacksaw stories. But in order to not get caught, I measured under the pickup and I bought these. I think it was 6-foot pieces of 3.5-inch pipe, 3-inch maybe. That 6.2 had little pipes, maybe 2.5, 3 at the biggest. So I went to the front of the muffler and I cut it off, right? And then I just took these straight pipes and I got these just random, generic hangers.
Yep.
And hung them off the frame just under the pickup box. And then the first time I did it, I did not have the clamps tight enough. I went on a date with this girl and we're rolling down the road. And mind you, this pickup was a Silverado, right?
Silverado.
Yeah. So it had the blue carpet and the blue seat and all that. And I bought a crushed velvet.
What year was this truck?
82.
Was it custom deluxe?
No, it was a Silverado.
Oh, Silverado.
Yeah, I had carpet, man.
Was it a heavy half?
No, I wish.
That's a fucking coolest name for a truck.
I know.
Heavy half.
Oh, dude, there's so many of them square bodies, special editions and shit. So we're going down the road, and this is like, I'm a 3 and she's like a 38. Not age, like ranking. Right. Like she's a 10 times 3, like way out of my league. Driving this old beater. Brrr, and the fucking, the exhaust clamps let go. So we're straight pipe dumping at my feet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Get a little rumble.
That is high class living right there, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, long story short, so I got them pipes clamped back on there. Well, we don't have an exhaust tube bender or anything like that. And I can't reach out for advice because I was never supposed to straight pipe that pickup. Don't do that. Mind you, the first time I do it, Dad pulls in the yard. I'm sitting in the pickup. What did I tell you? Be like, well, you gonna weld the mufflers back on, man?
Yeah.
It's like too late now. I figured that part out.
That's one thing nice about diesels. You have to worry about back pressure.
Right.
No back. Anything you need to worry about.
But what I did is I shot those tailpipes right into the ass end of the pickup. Right all the wiring.
Like for the lights and stuff? Yeah.
It took like a year because like the next fall, a girl in my class hit my pickup backing out in the high school parking lot. So between all of that, I got it repainted. Yeah. That was like happy senior, all redone, right? Yeah. Sexy. Got them wheels painted, too.
Oh, sure.
Factory colors and whatnot.
Yep.
So get it all redone. And that's when we discovered, well, he's like, I took that bumper off and the tail light. They still worked. But the dude took the bumper off to like do some of the body and paint, and everything. And the damn harness just fell to the ground. I was like, whoo. Because when those lights don't work, it's not a good time for them to not work.
Yeah.
Nothing ever quits working at like 9 a.m. It's always like 11.
That's exactly right.
Nothing good happens after midnight.
Oh, shit. A lot of good things happen after midnight.
Nothing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, nothing that's going to keep you out of trouble.
No, mind you. But that's how you have a podcast with stories.
That's right.
And we'll get to some of those.
So,
just kidding. We never will. But
I'd love to tell those stories. I got a lot of great stories that happen after midnight.
Lots.
So anyone that's listening to this podcast from El Dorado, Kansas, which I think there's no one that listens to this podcast from there, but going down Central, right? And right Central and Summit, and you go back one block, I think it's one block east. That's High Street. So everybody, I mean, you go down that road and you take off flying down this road. And
nobody's in a hurry. Always take High Street.
You go down flying down High Street, and it was, for whatever reason, that particular intersection between High and whatever the cross streets were, there was a big
between High and Hungry.
It could be, but there was a big dip in like
a storm drain.
Almost. It was a weird deal.
Like an eastern Colorado town,
but it was like the only place in the town that had that, and it was one there, and then on the next block down, another one. So I'd come off Central and just hammer. Of course, we're doing it, 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. Come screaming down the way, and you hit that first dip, and
oh my God!
But I wouldn't let out of it at all. I just keep right going and hit the second one. And I remember like hitting that first jump, and I'm like looking up, and then you don't see houses anymore. You don't see trees anymore. All you see is stars in the sky.
Oh damn!
There's nothing else in your field of view. And like, you just go down, you sparks flying, everything, going. And
nothing. You didn't break a thing.
Not a thing. Well, I mean, I wore some stuff out. I didn't break anything though. But
you didn't like hit the oil. The oil pan didn't break or nothing.
Yeah, there's a few of those. I got a story about that. Anyway, so so this truck I had. The thing about this truck that was very unique. It was a special edition 81 Chevy pickup. It had Ford Topaz bucket seats in it. So that was a weird option. It was a really unique option.
Ford Topaz.
So he had these Ford Topaz. Guy bought it from me. He had these Ford Topaz bucket seats in there because
they were free.
Yeah, they were matching.
Okay.
The reason he put them in there because they were free. He wanted bucket seats, and these were free.
Right.
So what he did was, instead of going into the actual seat mounts, which is there for a reason, I don't know if you knew that or not.
Right.
They're actually there for
part of the structure.
Yeah, part of the structure. Yeah, I'll just drill a hole and put it, whatever. So I had this
just through that little tin.
Yeah, just a little thing. No big deal. And it had a seatbelt and everything, but the seatbelt was bullshit. It didn't work, whatever. And in between the seats, there was a milk crate. Like
a console. Hell yes, man.
It was a milk crate for someone to sit on while we're driving down the road, right?
Oh.
So
it was flat side up.
Yeah, flat side up.
Well, you turn that upside down, you got a console.
Right. That's some speakers behind the seat. That's some MX-10s.
Never could do that. I'm 6'6".
And it was
I was just bumping the lots of treble on the 4x10s.
Yeah. It was just back behind there. So anyway, get everything going, and we got everything squared away and hitting these things. I got the friend of mine in the passenger seat, got the kid on the crate. We're jumping these things. And I remember hitting that second one. We come up, we come back down, and the kid on the crate hits his head on the ceiling, and the other kids all over the place. I'm like bracing myself against the steering wheel. So I'm doing this for I don't know how many weeks, just whenever I get a free minute.
Right.
Just driving around, and
like it's a circuit.
It's a thing.
We got to get our points up. Hit it harder.
Each time got a little bit faster. And the thing about it was, when the last jump you went to, the street that you stopped at the stop sign was a very busy street. even at 2:00 in the morning, there's cars. So you had to be like, as soon as you come up and as soon as you feel like you're hit to the ground,
Bam.
you're on the brakes.
Oh shit.
And you're sideways, you slide in the stop sign. Center. So you get this thing on, and then so I get my, obviously my truck's steering like shit, man. A-arms are bent,
Right.
ball joints are bad, and drag links are out and everything. So my dad is looking at this thing. He's like, have you been jumping your truck? And I go, what do you mean jump? What do you mean jump on my truck? I don't, like, you're on a ramp or something. He's like, no. I mean, like, he goes, look at this, the cross member,
Right.
on the frame is all like gouged, like, oh shit,
Scrape marks.
oh, huge scrape marks. And he's like, my wheels are like in, like this. And he goes, it almost looks like you've been like taking your truck and somehow been like jumping over something. He had no idea what I've been doing. And I'm like, no, man, I don't know. How would I do that? I mean, did I take it to a ramp someplace? And he's like, stop jumping your truck. Okay. Stop it right now. So that was my first edition. That was my first introduction to front end mechanics. Right. So
gotcha.
New drag links, new ball joints, getting the old, tuning fork out and popping the ball joints out, getting putting the A-frames in. I mean, old A-frames before you had what you have now, with the CV shafts and all those kind of things, getting all that stuff squared away and doing that. And my dad's like, we're going to, this is my dad. And I love him to death. He goes, here's what we're going to do. So however your truck's set up right now on the drag links, on the ball joints and stuff like that, there's a big piece of all thread,
right,
screwed in there. We're going to count the threads. All right, those threads are going to tell you when you screw these next ones back in. By God, this will be tight, right on. We dialed in, don't have to worry about anything. Everything's gonna be squared away. So I'm like counting them over here. I'm like, what constitutes a thread? I mean, like, this is like a half of. I mean, what are we talking about? So I'm like, I think it's 13. He goes, all right, I'll get on. He goes, yep, 13. That's the right number. We dial that thing in there, and like 2 weeks of doing this, my freaking front tires are like this side, like this.
Right.
The right side, the outside.
Cords and new.
It's like, what happened? Like he goes, what happened to your tires? Like, I don't know. I'm just been driving around. Take it in, of course it's way out of balance and out of whack. We get it tuned back up and everything else. And he goes, again, do not be jumping your truck. So now I didn't jump my truck anymore at all. I didn't do that anymore. What I did do was drive over road tracks. So when you have a 2-wheel drive truck, you don't have the ground clearance to get over.
Right.
So what you do is you hit that kind of ramp thing. You kind of get over, and
you ought to at least bottom out twice on the other side.
So I come up, you kind of pop up, bam, you jump over the first one. You just keep in it, and you can't get out of it, and you ride on the frame of the truck and you get across there. Because here's the thing: if you got on the other side of this railroad track, hell's a good place to party.
Oh,
because nobody's going to find you. Because what is the cop going to drive his car across that?
Right.
Negative. Right.
See, the closest thing I have to that, to kind of wrap up number 2 here, we're kind of on a theme though. We're gonna throwback might be back from the dead, brother. But 8th grade year, I was a thrower in track. I hated track with everything inside of me. We had a track meet. Mom and dad both worked in town at that point, and I was sick that morning. So
shocking. Yeah.
I
had COVID before it was cool.
Yeah, I did. I'm like, I feel like I ate a bat and I can't taste anything, can't smell. So about mom got home about 3 or so. So I think about 10:30, 11 o'clock, I went out and got in my pickup. And I was an 8th grader, 14. I had a 67 GMC X Forestry Service pickup. Nice. 305 V6, 4-speed, 4-wheel drive. Not one single other option known to man on the pickup.
455 rear end?
No, like super high, like 342.
Okay. So you weren't the Tower of Power, but you were I might take me forever, but I'm going to get to 100 miles an hour by Tuesday.
Yeah, kind of. I know for a fact, I don't remember off the top of my head. I know for a fact it was higher than 373, but lower than 308 because I had several square bodies like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lugger.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have been in the 373, 410 range, actually. Anyway, this beautiful mint green turd of mine, I went out and drove her. Okay. I'm like, maybe I'll go dig stickers. I'm like, that's what I'll do. I played hooky from track because track sucks, but I'm going to go dig stickers, thistles out in the pasture.
Okay.
And dad will be like, well, okay, I guess, because I did farm stuff, and I did it well. Well, I didn't so much as dig a first sticker and Fall Guy starts popping into my head, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the world's biggest Colt. Oh my God. Colt Seaver fan.
Colt Seaver. Yeah.
Colt Seaver fan on earth. Not nearly as much as that gorgeous 83 GMC K20 K25. But so I'm out there in the pasture and I'm like, ooh, a draw. Vroom, poof. Sweet. Another draw. Vroom, poof.
Yeah.
Mind you, this thing has no power steering, right?
Yep.
So when you land, you just hope for the best because it's going where it wants.
That's right. Yeah.
So I take one last big old, I'm like, I'll hit that. Like it used to be a terrace and a field back in the 50s or 60s, and it was CRP.
Back in the
day. And I gave that old 305 some juice and vroom, lost it. I hit a rut, veered to the left, and I'm like, okay, it stopped. I'm alive. Pickup's not wrecked. And I get out and look, and the right-hand wheel is at least a 45.
Sure. Yeah.
At least. So I'm like, what? Because it's 1:00. Mom's close to home. So I walk 1.5 miles back to the house, and I get the 1135 and a chain, and I drive out there on the furthest, where dad's never going to look at the field, right?
Sure. Yeah.
No tracks at all.
That's what you think. That's what you think anyway. Yeah.
Right. No, this is the story gets better. So I take that log chain, just a 3/8 log chain, wrap it around the frame and drape it in the bottom tugs of the quick hitch, pull the pickup home. Better than any tow truck ever could have, right? So I get to the yard and realize I can't turn very well. So I'm kind of doing the back and forth seesaw, and I'm like, shit, I'll park it up by the shed with that tire facing away from where anybody ever looks, right? It's the old loader shed. Didn't touch the pickup for a couple months. And by that point, I had bitched about it a lot because no power steering. It's a stick, no radio, all that. And dad's like, well, tough shit. That's your pickup. Enjoy. But I did have a beaded seat cushion.
Bluetooth on your phone?
No. We only had 3G out there. And I could never get the Bluetooth to work. So we're standing there for this is 2 months later, Casey. I have forgotten about it. I am free and clear. When the day comes that I can drive to school, I'll go get in it and I'll drive to town and the wheel will fall off and it won't be my fault and we're good to go, right? We're standing there and my uncle goes, what the hell did you do to your pickup? And my heart fell out of my heel. It sank. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, that right front wheel's at a 45. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened to my pickup? So I go walking up there and I'm like, man, did that happen when I was digging thistles last weekend? And dad's like, I highly doubt it. And I said, well, I don't know what it could have been. Saving grace, it was already cracked where it broke. Because up underneath on that axle, there was that orange gasket in a tube shit that they patched the hole with.
Yeah.
So I took an ass chewing for a week and then I laid under there and I'm like, fine, I'll fix it. I'll have dad teach me how to weld and I'll fix it, even though it's cast, what the hell?
Yeah.
Little JB weld.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah.
So I'm laying under there and I'm like, I had never felt so good in my life. I'm like, it's not my fault. It was already broke. This is great. So I showed Dad. To this day, it's still my fault.
Until listens to this podcast.
No, they know this story.
Oh, okay.
But it's still my fault because wasn't even leaking. Couldn't have been too big of a crack. I'm like, it was a tube of orange shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right.
So that's the children and vehicles. Good thing we both have sons driving.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that because, good times.
I just feel so damn bad for Ben Seymour having to walk home all the time because that Ford leaves him high and dry.
He'll walk home because I make him walk home more than anything. But, just leave it parked where you're at. I'll have your mom come pick me up. You can
Gas is over $4. Walk home.
Yeah,
you can either drive there and walk home or walk both ways. It's up to you.
We've had that conversation several times already. So, yeah.
You guys probably have Uber in the city, don't you?
More of him walking and those kind of things are the shenanigans that he pulls.
Well, I understand that.
And
That was just a side note, which has nothing to do with the era. Uber back in the day said Deshler Public Schools on the side. That's the only chance you were getting a ride anywhere.
You know what we should do for Throwback Iron Podcast number 3?
Talk about farm equipment.
We should get Brad Seymour on here and talk about the mud truck and mud racing.
Hell yes. I got it. Only if we get that famous quote.
So
I'll talk to Brad.
Being a pit crew on the old mud truck. That was a good time.
Square body.
Square body, yeah.
Well, what do you think, buddy?
I feel like we've hit her.
I feel like it's December 23rd and we ought to wrap her up.
We should.
Okay, Casey. Appreciate you being on. If folks want to reach out to you, how do they do that on several platforms?
Best way to do that, hit me up Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. Also go to Moving Iron Podcast on LinkedIn. And you can also find us here on Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel. And you can do that from there. Aaron, what's the best way to find you?
Well, I am pretty active on the Twitterverse at Aaron Fintel, Aaron. Also by name on Facebook, LinkedIn, by email at aaron.fintel@movingironllc.com, or you can call me, text me, 308-760-1193.
Right on.
And that's going to do it for this edition of the Throwback Iron Podcast. Dose. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.